So back to the conversation about James Harden. Bron has him in the top 10. I have him debatable. How you feel about this D Wade versus James Harden conversation, Lamar?
Definitely D Wade is the number three, undebatable. Um, do I think they're in a conversation? I think a conversation could be had, but just in the sense of like two great shooting guards, not necessarily putting James Harden above Dwayne Wade. But I would probably, for me, I would probably put James Harden in the honestly top five um, position, where for me he'd be 4, 5, 6 at the bare minimum. If we're just going based off of skill set, what he's done in the league, I know he hasn't gotten any rings, and he hasn't necessarily shown up in certain moments of playoffs. But even that kind of noise of him falling out in playoffs, it's only specific certain games, and yes, those typically have been bigger, the kind of the final game of a series. But he still has great playoff series, play great playoff games in certain series. It's just, yes, I could agree that maybe 1 or 2 games in a series, and maybe being the more important game in the series, he's kind of fallen off. But I don't think the full James Harden doesn't show up in the playoffs is necessarily true. I think it's an easy kind of low hanging fruit to pick at, where people kind of use that to critique him, and say and justify their critiques on him. But if you go full body of work, man has an MVP. There's not many other shooting guards that have an MVP, and certain ones that maybe you would even put above him. You don't have an MVP. Vince Carter doesn't have an MVP. Some people will try to put him above him. Trace McGrady, I don't think has an MVP. Some people will try to put him above him. So you're looking at it like that, and he got an MVP in a time where there's very heavy hitters in the league, the likes of KD, Russell, uh, LeBron, Giannis. Like there's heavy Kawhi. Like there's heavy hitters all over the place, and he still was able to get an MVP during that time.
I mean, but one could say there's been heavy hitters in every era. I mean, T Mac and Vince Carter had to play against the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, Tim
Jordan.
Duncan. So every era has had those
They didn't
guys,
get they
but
didn't
they didn't win them. No,
but
you're
they didn't
right.
get
It's a fair
MVP.
point. They didn't win them. I mean, Steve Nash probably stole two. you know, one for sure.
He stole one for sure.
One
We
for
got
sure he stole.
one for sure.
And let's not forget, guys. Allen Iverson is a two guard. He was a two guard his whole career.
Allen Iverson is my goat. You already know that. That's the reason. That's
so,
the reason I. That's the reason I love
so
three so much.
that's a guy in our
That's my
early
guy right
heated
there.
conversation that for whatever reason I completely forgot about. So he's actually four. If I were to list it, it would it
Yeah, I
would
Three
would
is
definitely
three is
put
three is
Allen over
debatable,
Shaq.
but I'm not gonna argue anybody that puts Dwayne Wade in front of him, even though
I'm and the
Dwayne.
I was
sole
gonna say
reason
I
I'm
would
putting
put
D
him
Wade
at
in front of him is because he won one and has a Finals
three and
MVP.
four.
And
I said they're
that's my
tied at
only.
3 and 4.
That's why I
Yeah,
said that's my only thing. If you could put him at four, cool. It's because if he's like he don't have the title, yes.
yeah.
But like the man said it already. Jordan, yes, he knows Jordan, but AI is his
And,
idol.
and let's be real, when we talk about who's carried a team, like legitimately carried a team that had no business being in the finals, that's Allen Iverson. And they stole a game from one of the greatest playoff teams we've ever seen assembled. They were the first team ever to make it through all 3 rounds undefeated, and they lost in the first game of that series. They obviously later won the series 4-1, but he dropped I think 48 in that first game if I'm not mistaken. We have the iconic step over. Allen Iverson carried that team to the NBA final. Legitimately carried that team to the playoffs, through a finals, and to a game one victory in LA. Which during that playoffs, obviously they hadn't taken a loss that whole campaign. Um, One of the greatest teams ever assembled. He took a game off of them. So yeah,
And
so
NBA player that has played against him has said that was one of the biggest problems that they've ever had to deal
Yeah,
with, and it
fair.
was not them just guarding him. It was all five
All five
players on the
guys.
court
He's
were
on
guarding him.
the whole report. The whole shit. Not even 5 guys. You had the crowd. You had the bench trying to get at him and say stuff and get him out of his game. And Kobe said it. Kobe said it best.
And selling
RP.
beers trying to guard him.
Yeah,
It was that bad.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Allen Iverson was 6'3", he would have been a.
They said it.
He would have been a uber problem. He was a problem for the NBA already at a barely 6 foot tall. He'd have been 6'3" or taller at a true 2-guard height.
Kobe said it.
6'6".
He said it. He was a bit. If he was taller than 6, if he was 6'4" in between 6'6", we wouldn't be having this debate.
No, he might have went down as the greatest player ever in history. Like that's how. And he went out every night. Like yeah, Allen Iverson was like that. Like yeah, for sure. So he's definitely not better than Allen Iverson. So that's 4 right there in my mind. And 5 would be either Vince Carter or T.
I don't think nobody's debating that. I don't think nobody's debating that part of it, fool. I just think you said it. We were debating on you saying he won top 10. The man's top 10.
Yeah, you dropped him too low. You dropped him way too low.
We didn't say.
I said he's debatable in the top 10.
5, 6 of them.
And that's fine. We just was letting you know you was like, first originally he's not top 10. Then we had to debate that. We were like, you know what? You might be right. He's
Right.
Oh, that's all it is. It's just the man is. He's not better than Dwayne, but he's top 10 shooting guard of all time. Yes.
For real. And speaking, we kind of brought up Westbrook. I just don't like the fact that the man he's got comfortable. He's playing really well. He's played really well all season. He had his worst performance of the season last night or the night before. Yeah, the night before. And people are trying to drag him down. He's not. I'm like, by statistics alone, Russell Westbrook is one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen. And he's not even a point guard. He's really a 2. But when you look at all the stats that matter, he gets assists, he puts the ball in the basket, and he finds a way to get a rebound from the 1 position. I understand that LeBron James has done a thing that we thought would never be done, or the only person that would have done it had they never retired would have been Michael Jordan. And if he'd have played till the 2000s and got that 19, 20 year career, he would have definitely broke Kareem's scoring record. The next thing that we thought we would never see in our lifetime would have been what Oscar Robertson did and averaged a triple-double. And here we are. We're now. It's like regular thing. The Joker's been kind of doing it, but we never thought we would see a guard ever do it again. And the man went and did it 3 times in a row.
Yep.
So to disrespect, I don't like the blatant disrespect. I mean, they try to say point. He's stat padding. I'm like, you still have to pass the ball to someone, and they have to put the ball in the basket. That's the hardest stat to get as assist.
Hey man, it's stat padding. Who cares, nigga? Like everybody has done it at some point.
It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not an easy thing
difficult,
to do.
Bro, you know how many times we have seen them be like 1 off, and you see them be like, "Hey, you need 1 more," and people start running out the way for rebounds. People are like, "Hey, we're gonna try to force this assist so you can get it or something." Bro, it's been done before. We just want to criticize.
Seven straight misses at the end of the game for no reason.
Come on, bro. I've seen it. We've seen Rondo physically miss a layup on purpose to get a triple-double in rebounds.
Right. So, but he did it. But he did it through a whole season, 82 games, averaging like you can't pat stat 82 games. Maybe a game here or there, sure. I mean, it is what it is. But
a streak, maybe, yeah.
No,
like,
you're not finna. You can't pat stat. You can't.
Every player has probably stat padded for contractual reasons, where they're trying to get a certain number on their contract.
And it goes on the opposite way, where guys don't shoot the ball so they can have a certain field goal percentage, so they can still get their incentives.
Some form. Shape, and nobody gets stopped for. And even if you're trying to be like, oh, he had a bad game the last game, or he had a couple. Every NBA player, even the greats, have had multiple duds. So are we just now going to discredit them because they've thrown up horrible?
This year. All right,
easy.
My 65.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Don't worry about it.
I think your mic is speaking out.
That's the thing with. That's the thing with
fades. Sorry, Lamar. Go ahead.
That's the thing with this kind of era of the social medias and stuff is they're quick to try to bring you down over any little thing, but when you actually go through and look at it, every player has bad games.
Yep.
Every player has stat padded one way or the other,
Yep.
regardless
Yep.
of if it's trying to go for a certain amount of assists, a certain shooting percentage, whatever the case may be. Every player is going to do what they got to do, whether that's for their own sake, for contractual reasons, to win games, to whatever. We've even seen people stat pad to lose games, and they got caught. Porter, but things happen. Okay, things happen, and it is what it is. But you can't just discredit a player off of he had a bad game or this that, and the third. No,
Facts.
his whole legacy and even what he's doing this season, he's been a stud this season, and he's really rediscovered himself in that bench role and kind of getting putting those start minutes here and there and whatever the case may be, and has shown to be a great point guard for the team. Even though I do agree with Marquis. Of course, he started off his kind of whole career. He was a two guard, but as far as the NBA, more so in his later years, kind of when KD left, he really turned into a point guard and was really driving home the team and pushing offense. But especially the Nuggets, he is their second point guard. Jamal Murray is loving that he gets to be off the ball and he can play shooting guard. And the point guards are Jokic and Westbrook. Exactly.
Yeah. But speaking of since Jokic is being talked about, did that 60-point triple double just solidify Jokic as the MVP?
Listen, I got it a little earlier in the season why Shea was being pushed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But you had
They don't want to see a white man get that game. They don't want to see a white man win.
It's not even just a white man thing. They don't want to see, and I understand that. I understand. It's crazy. I understand that Shea is not from America, but he's North American. They try to say Canada and us are the same, especially being that there's a team in Toronto. But they really don't want to see a European win again.
They don't want that.
They don't want that. And the Jokers. Now, the only thing that's saving Shea in this conversation is the fact that his team is looking like the number one seed overall, and they're in the hardest conference.
Mm-hmm.
We talked in our Washed episode, we talked about it on how it is truly like a 5 to 6 team race in the West, and in the East, it's at best a 4 team race. But it's probably more of a 3-team.
Might be a 3-team now.
At best, it's probably a 3-team.
It's really a spades hand. It's a 2 and a possible.
Yeah. Sure, I could get you 2 books.
I
might get you 2 books. Because I'm running out. Because I'm low on hearts and I'm low on clubs, so I'm gonna be playing spades early. So I might get you a couple extra books early in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Are we saying possible 3? Is that what you guys would be throwing out there?
From the East, from the East for sure.
The East is a 2 and a possible.
Has 0 wins against top seeded teams. Yeah, I'm not going for it.
As I said, it's a spades head. That's a 2 and a possible, though.
Especially and we don't know what the situation with Dame is. I know they said it's not as bad as the blood clots with Chris Bosh and a Wemby because it is in his leg, and I guess they have technology to kind of help get that circulated out, or I don't know, vibrate. I don't know I'm not a doctor, okay? The terminology. However, they can clear up a blood clot in his leg, so they're saying that there is a possibility he could be in the playoffs. When in the playoffs, that is. I kind of have a bone to pick here. In one of our earlier episodes, I said that the Pistons were definitely a dark horse team. They're a team that I can see actually truly make it to a conference finals. One is going to depend on who they run into, but because they're tough, they can score, they're well coached. They are that Detroit, like they are embodying that bad boy Piston, tough, gritty. They're a year early, because you called it, they're a year early. But this is my take. The Pistons will go as far as Isaiah Thomas is ignorant. If that motherfucker's not being ignorant, they can go pretty goddamn far. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to call this out. Yes, I understand I'm a Minnesota kid. I haven't been a Timberwolves fan since what happened with Flip Saunders and KG, especially with Glenn Taylor's bitch ass. I can't wait for him to go the fuck somewhere else. But that's most of the Wolf Nation, okay? Most Minnesotans, even if they're not T-Wolves fans, they've been tired of Glenn Taylor and his bitch ass. Okay, I'm just gonna call it like it is. But when I saw the Timberwolves play 3 days they played the Pistons a few days ago, and the Pistons was beating that belt ass. And DiVincenzo, yeah, it was a little petty shot, a little cheap shot. He pushed Isaiah Stewart in the back. We are all ball players. We understand, like, hey, people pushing you in the back, you kind of check that. We're not going to be pushing each other and pushing in the back on rebounds. Like, you're not going to be doing that when I'm in the air. It's risky business, okay? But you go talk to that person. Yo, come on now. We're too good for that. Not everything. This is not everyone has had a father figure in their life. And if I'm talking crazy, I don't give because I just think it's stupid. When you're a man and you've been raised by men, you were taught that not everything requires a reaction or a retaliation. And a retaliation and reaction is not just going up to somebody, hey, man, and having a conversation. Hey, we're not going to be doing that. You don't got to push me on my back, bro. Come on now.
There's other things.
There's other things like, let's be real. Don't take cheap shots on my back. And then it's done. It's dead. It's dead. Unless dude does it again, it's dead. Then if he does it again, then that's when it's time to crash out. I'm wholly behind that. But if you watch what happened in that brawl, what led to that brawl is DiVincenzo pushed him in the back. He goes and timeout's called. He goes to chest bump him and talk and say whatever. And for 6 or 7 possessions, Isaiah Thomas is very clearly looking for his retaliation.
Need Stewart, but yeah, go crazy.
Isaiah Stewart.
That's who I say. Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
So my bad. Isaiah Stewart is very clearly looking for his retaliation. He's looking for an opportunity to get his get back on DiVincenzo. You guys are winning the game. Mikal Beasley is doing his thing. He feels some type of way about the Timberwolves not re-signing him because of his legal situation. He's going crazy. You can hear him on the microphone through the broadcasters. He can't guard me. He can't guard me either. He's having a hell of a game. Man was going nuts. They were up by 15 at one point in time. But because Isaiah Stewart is too fucking ignorant, I understand this is an ignorant take podcast. I know it's an oxymoron, but he's too fucking ignorant to understand we're up. Let me get out of my goddamn emotions and just play the game. I don't need to look for a retaliation, or if I get one, it comes. If it comes to you, it comes. But you're looking for one, and now you've incited a fight between the teams, and you had 3 people thrown out on your team and your head coach. And then on the Minnesota Timberwolves side, they lost Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, and an assistant coach. And you guys lose the game.
But the brawl also led to after the fact that it was a foul on Nas. And then it then went into DiVincenzo stepping in. Yeah. But leading up to that game, it was real chippy. So I also got to blame the refs for some of that too, because they was letting shit slide.
They were letting shit slide. But also coaches, if I could see it on the broadcast that he's clearly looking for people, you call a timeout, you reel him in like, hey, if you get him, but you shouldn't be looking to incite it.
Yeah, but he's a crash out. We know they don't. They don't work anyway.
So that's what my take is. The Pistons will go as far as Isaiah Thomas is ignorant, and what I mean, if you don't understand that, the higher his ignorant level is, the less chance they have of winning. The lower his ignorant chances are, the higher they have of winning, because he's a good ball player. He gets you boards. He plays defense. He don't take no shit. He's a real good enforcer when he's in his right mind type of enforcer, not I'm looking to retaliate type shit. Get it in the middle of the game. Get it in the flow of the game where it can't be called a flagrant and you can't get teed up and out of the game.
And even to piggyback on that, to kind of solidify your point, the man played 7 minutes that game. Isaiah Stewart played 7 minutes.
7 minutes. And he was in his 7 minutes, he was a factor. He was a factor in the game in 7 minutes. And they were up, like I said, they were up at 9. When the incident happened, they were up 9 points. So very clearly, and he's very efficient in what he brings to the table. And you need that guy. The Detroit Pistons of the early 2000s don't win a title without Ben Wallace. And Ben Wallace was definitely a crash out, but he was a smart crash out. Like in the sense of Rasheed Wallace was a crash out. They had 2 crash outs on their team.
That's the OG.
That's the OG crash out. So, because that's Draymond's OG, by the way. So
I know.
So that's what I mean. And the Pistons went as far as Rasheed Wallace's ignorance and Ben Wallace's ignorance. They went as far as they could go without them getting super ignorant. There's a time and a place. There's a way to get it in the flow of a game. We've played enough ball. There's so many possessions. Things happen so fast. You're gonna find the opportunity. It's gonna come up. Let God be play his part.
On the screen. Yeah, you could have got a little chippy on the screen.
Chippy on the screen. Yeah. Box out kind of crazy. Yeah, you can find him on a box out. Like it's going to happen.
He trying to box out, run him over. I agree. He could have got it a different way.
But he's looking for it. Like, bro, we're not playing football. You're not Ray Lewis with a receiver coming down the middle. Like, get out of here. That's what he's looking for. So as long as Isaiah Stewart doesn't crash out and get super ignorant, we've seen the Pistons beat the top teams.
Yeah,
they've beat.
That's right. All I said was they were just a year.
They're a year early. 100%.
I said I called it early. I called that in advance. I said it was a year early. Yeah. Because I seen the way Cade had started the year off, and Cade was hooping, and I was like, boy, I think that problem. He understood. It wasn't even that. I said Cade took the right step. He understood what he had to do to get better this year and make the team better, and he figured it out. Now they started understanding. That's why I was like, they're a year away. One more person. You just got to get him somebody else to help him get a bucket. Mm-hmm. There, it's over.
And I think they kind of have that guy in Beasley. Like, he's very streaky.
Not long term.
Not long term. No, I agree with that. But
that's why I said that.
Yeah, so it's that's still my take. I mean, we'll see what the Bucks are.
Keep him. I say if they keep him, like, and he's an additional scorer, so like that's your. Throw him in a 6-man role, which he's been used to doing. Like, yes, that's a great asset to have, but like he needs another number. He needs that number 2. He don't have a true number 2. He has a bunch of guys that make points for him to make what a number 2 would do. But Cade gets a number 2, it's over. I really wanted him out of Detroit, but now he's showing you like, hey, I can get this team going. Somebody come help me. I'm all for it.
And on another note, similar with playoffs, so we're basically down to the last 6 games, 5 or 6 games, I think, in the season. The West is very tight, super tight. I mean, the Lakers, the Nuggets are within 1 game of each other. The Warriors, the Timberwolves, the Clippers, and the Grizzlies are all within a game of each other. We all stated it's definitely matchup heavy on how far your team can go. I don't really think Denver's falling. I think Denver's trying to avoid Minnesota. I truly think Denver's trying to avoid Minnesota.
I really want Denver to get the Lakers first round. But
I really want Denver to get the Lakers the first round too. I'm trying to get them out of there.
The Lakers are probably going to end up. It's probably going to end exactly how it is.
Which I hate
with
to see
the
because I
3, 4, 5.
I don't want to play the Nuggets first round. I don't.
I don't know. I mean, the Warriors play the Lakers tonight. Let's see the rest.
It's the Lakers. Luka going for 35.
No, Luka gonna get 35, but he ain't getting the dub though.
Austin Reeves goes for 25.
Okay, so let's go. Let's take the Lakers. Let's go schedule by schedule, if I may. So the Lakers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left. So they have
Golden. The Lakers have a tough schedule.
They have a tough schedule left. They have Golden State tonight. They have Orlando, which should be a win. They have OKC 2 times in a row. Then they have Dallas at Dallas. Then they have Houston, and then Portland. Portland has been giving people issues, so I'm going to say that's definitely a toss-up game, and it's the last game of the season.
Might rest some players.
Might rest some player.
I think they easily go minimum 4-3.
So if they go 4-3,
4, 5, 6, 7.
Out of these 7 games, 4-3.
So
yeah, I can see. I get 4-3, 5-2 at best. But probably 4-3.
So 4-3 is 50-32. 50 wins, 32 losses. And then the Nuggets have, for their last 6 games, they have Golden State on Friday, Indiana, Sacramento, Memphis, Houston.
Shit,
5 games, sorry. It's not 6 games. 5 games.
They got 5. They fuck around and might go 4-1.
Okay, so if they go 4-1, that puts them at 51 wins, 31 losses. So they'll be.
Well, they might, like you said, they might be trying to avoid.
I think they're really truly trying to avoid Minnesota, because Minnesota.
And I think they like
well
that matchup against the Warriors. Yeah, they probably like. So they might drop some games intentionally and not try to get that 3rd seed.
But with that being said, the Warriors and the Timberwolves are both on 3-game win streaks. I think I'm looking. Let's move into the Timberwolves schedule, and then we'll move into the Golden State Warriors schedule.
I think they have a more favorable schedule than us.
I do think too. They got Boston, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, Memphis. Sorry, I said Boston. Brooklyn tonight. They're playing Brooklyn right now. Philly, Milwaukee, Memphis, Brooklyn, Utah.
Easily the only game that they potentially going to lose would be
the Memphis game.
The Memphis game, because if you get Ja going and that team gets going, yeah. The rest of them, Brooklyn twice, that's easy dubs. Philly, dub.
So that's 5-1, and if they go 5-1,
they lose one of those Brooklyn games.
Okay, so
they could do that.
We'll say 4-2.
They're known to drop. They're known to drop a game like
bullshit.
that.
Yeah. So we'll say 4. We'll say 4-2. I think I could agree more to 4-2 than 5-1. So if they go 4-2, they're going to be 48-34. That's what their record is.
The 5th seed, if depending.
Right now they're the 6th seed, and then so now it's going to depend on what Golden State does, because Golden State is the 5th seed. So Golden State, I think, has the hardest schedule out of everybody. Well, I think the Lakers actually have a harder schedule than.
The Lakers definitely have the hardest schedule.
So Golden State has the Lakers tonight, Denver tomorrow, Houston, Phoenix, San Antonio, Portland, LA, Clippers.
We have a way harder schedule.
Yeah. So let's see. Let me look at it.
That's 3. You just
they're
said
dealing with OKC twice. That's why I'm giving LA the
yeah,
the
but like okay, you can say that, but like OKC, but you're still getting favored. Like it's 2 of those. You gotta just back to back is 3 playoff teams. Lakers, Denver, Houston.
It's
3 playoffs.
The Lakers.
Well, you can say the Lakers and the Lakers Warriors, they wash each other out because they both play each other.
Yeah.
So like that, you can't count that game.
Yeah, but then you go still next 2 is playoff games.
All right, so those teams mentioned, where do you guys feel? So Lakers, Denver, Rockets, Suns, San Antonio, Portland, Clippers. That's 7 games.
I see us sneaking.
Probably ssimlar thing about 4-3 out.
So if they're 4-3, I said that the Timberwolves would be 48-34 because they went 4-2. 4-3 would be 48-34 as well, so they'd have the same record.
It just comes head to head.
Now we have to look at head to head.
I think we have the head to head.
Maybe not. Let's see. I'm looking at it right now.
Let's see. They beat them 3-1-2.
They would have played at least 3
times. They beat them 3 times. They beat them 3-1.
In favor of Minnesota or in favor of Golden State?
Warriors beat them.
Yeah.
All right.
The Timberwolves only beat Warriors 1 time, so
that would be your 5-6 seed right there.
Mm-hmm.
So so it basically kind of stays.
So it stayed the same. Exactly how it is.
Yeah, it's the exact same. Which is like I don't want to see Joker in the playoff. Joker in the first round. I really don't want to see that.
It's tough.
Is it doable? It's doable, yes, but like I just don't want to see that matchup first
So
round.
if we think it stays, because I think the Clippers win out. I think they'll be the 7th seed.
Yeah, I can see that. Kawhi's been hooping, so
Yeah, and then it's gonna really come down to Ja. Maybe. I mean, they have to. They would either. They right now, as it stands, they would either have to beat the Mavericks or the Kings. As it stands right now, I mean, the Suns and the Trailblazers are still.
Ja and them will be in the play-in for sure. Ja and them will be in the play-in for sure. It'll be what I think is they'll go as far as what players do. Like,
so that would be your 8 seed. You're saying that's your 8 seed?
Yeah, I got Ja and them getting in.
So with that, being said, to get into this playoff conversation, so you have Oklahoma. You would have.
So you're
Oklahoma,
keeping it exactly how it is, 7 and 8.
7 and 8, yeah. With those winning
Clippers,
out.
Grizzlies.
Yeah, with them winning out in the play-in. So Thunder, it would be Thunder versus Grizzlies, Rockets versus Clippers, Lakers versus T-Wolves, Nuggets versus Warriors. We can go series by series. We can start from 1 to 4.
I think we all agree if that 1 versus 8 is there. I think that's the easy dub for the Thunder. I don't see that.
I agree with that. What you
I maybe give Ja Ja may get one.
I was gonna say I can give it a gentleman's one game at Memphis.
I can see it.
Yeah, him in Memphis, Ja goes crazy.
That one game, him, Triple J, and G.O.D. built as Desmond Bain would end up having a good game. Like, so if y'all on the same page.
All right, so we agree. I think it'll be a 4. It'll be a sweep or a 4-1. That's just what it's gonna be. Rockets, Clippers. I think that's a 6-game series.
I was gonna say that's an interesting series. Yeah. I could see Clippers getting the Rockets out of there, depending on what Kawhi you get.
Yeah,
I could see.
That's
Clippers.
Gonna give me 2 games is Kawhi, but
I could see Clippers winning that series.
Kawhi hasn't been his health has always been in question these last several years. Since 2018, super health issues. So that's why I have them maybe getting the 2 games, and then he gets hurt.
X Factor. If that series were to happen, X Factor in that series is Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons and Norman Powell will be the X Factor. You laugh at it, but look at it. If they go small ball, you got Ben Simmons at the 5. And if you letting him run pick and roll with James or you have somebody that can make every pass off the roll. You're not worried about him.
Matches up well with that is Amon, though. Amon matches up really well with that.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it. Who you're switching them on. You're switching them onto him, and then potentially you could have your center. Their small ball lineup is like Jabari Smith at the 5, who's lightweight. That's not a good look.
Okay.
So that's why I say but I would say an X factor in that series would be like Ben Simmons and Norman Powell. Because if Norman Powell keeps playing while he's playing, that's a given 20 to 25 a game.
And so far, and Kawhi hasn't played in any of these games, but the Rockets have won 3 games. Out of the 4, they played the last one on April 9th versus the Clippers. But so Kawhi hasn't played in any of those games.
So he would
because they were earlier in the season.
Healthy Kawhi, that could be a 7-game series.
Yeah, healthy Kawhi is definitely a 7-game series.
I still it depends on Kawhi, but I got the Rockets in that.
The Rockets.
I like the Rockets. They play they're well coached.
I can see the Clippers winning it.
I would say Rockets and 6.
Rockets probably 6 or 7 games.
I like Ty Lue, but I think they're better coached with Udoka.
I'll say 6.
Yeah, I got 6. I got a 6-game series. Outside of if you get a healthy Kawhi, then it's a 7-game series. So, in favor of the Rockets. So then now you have Lakers, T-Wolves.
Lakers. Luka. I mean, I say Lakers. Luka in 5, baby. Luka in 5, baby.
I'm sorry.
Luka in 5.
Maybe I'll be a homer here. I'll just be a homer.
I can't be a homer.
What did that boy say last time? What did that boy say?
Ain't gonna cry about
Budweiser, Budenholzer. Move over.
Lakers in 5.
The Timberwolves do not want to see that man again. Rudy don't want to see that man again. He's
Rudy doesn't want to see himself in the mirror. That's he definitely don't want to see Luka.
He does not want to see that man.
But
and they said child support, no support scouting report.
I don't know, man. The T-Wolves have been on one. The T-Wolves have been on one these last 10 games. They're
I would say they're after All-Star break.
They're different. They didn't play DiVincenzo.
form
Like this is why. Okay,
been very solid.
let's like I said, maybe I'm being a homer here, but DiVincenzo's finally out of his mental space. He had something mental going on after being traded. Let's be real.
He was butthurt.
He was butthurt, and he's finally playing how he was playing last year for the Knicks.
He starts. Or they got him come off the bench.
I think it's a mix. He's been starting and off the bench sometimes. So, but he's still a factor. He's still a. That's my X factor. Is who you get of DiVincenzo, will determine how that series goes and if the Timberwolves can win that series or not.
Timberwolves, y'all want to have a chance in that series? Keep Rudy off the damn floor.
He should be off the floor, especially during the fourth quarter. He should be off the fucking floor. Naz Reid should be the only center on the. Naz Reid or Julius Randle should be on the floor at all times in the fourth quarter.
He's on the bench. He's on the bench right now.
Yeah,
he didn't start this game.
But I don't think they need because their starters should be Mike, Ant, McDaniels,
Julius,
and then Rudy. So yeah,
Rudy,
I like him coming.
Yep.
I like him off the bench anyway. I think he's a fire starter. He plays defense. He talks his shit. He don't back down from nobody. It's like I said, he's shown his worth in the playoffs these last couple years, and he's like that. So that's my factor on saying why I think the Timberwolves could potentially win that series. And send the flop bitch ass home early.
and they can make it a series.
What that boy say overseas? Austin Reeves, he's him. Austin Reeves, him. Austin, him.
All right, moving on. Now we got Denver Warriors. That is
Denver in 7. Denver in 6 maybe. I think Denver in 7.
I'm biased, even though I don't want to play them. You know
said
I'm
you're being
biased.
homer.
You know I'm biased.
Call it out now.
We're winning in 7. I'm sorry. I don't want us to play Denver, but if we have to, I got us in 7.
I mean, 7. I think Denver wins that. Unfortunately, at that stage, if the Warriors catch them later and you get Jimmy really feeling himself, that's a completely different series. If they see him in round 2.
I would also rather see him around 2, let Joker get beat up a series.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
really what I want.
Yeah, so
have him beat up.
Get him beat up a series because I said it earlier. I really feel that Denver does not want to see Minnesota. They don't want to see them that YN over there, number 5. They don't want to see him.
Jokic
at all.
might rest. Jokic, I think they're gonna. I think.
They want to.
What's the coach name? What's coach name?
For Malone.
What's their coach name?
For Nuggets.
Malone. I think Malone learned his mistake of really chasing for that home seed, which didn't make any sense last season. Mm-hmm. Threw them over. So I think he learned from that, and he admitted that wasn't a good decision, and all the players admitted that wasn't a good decision. That they also wanted to go for that home seed, that 2 seed. I think they learned from that. They say, you know what? We'll chop it up and let's face them. Let's face the Warriors, and you can see Jokic, Murray, Gordon all kind of getting rested here and there for the rest.
So with
rest
that
of the
said,
season.
if they don't, unless they're playing for that spot, they have an opportunity to not be in that seed. And Minnesota, with the way they're playing and their schedule, they can wind up being a 4 seed. They can make if Denver.
They just need to win 4 games. They just need to win 4 games.
Yeah. So if Denver lose because at best, we said they could
maybe even 3. I think they only need 3, right? They only need 3.
They really need 2 games. If they win their 2 of their next games, they should be fine. Because at best we said that the Timberwolves will win 4 of their next 6 games. Or sorry, at worst they're going to win 4 of their next 6 games. At best they'll win 5 of their next 6. So at 5 they'll be 49. And I think they have an even split this year between the 2 teams. Denver, Minnesota. So Denver might get the nod if they don't drop. But if you think they're gonna tank it a little bit, they can't drop too goddamn far because then they're gonna. I think they're.
No, they should win 3. They win 3 games at 50. Yeah, I think the Nuggets. The Nuggets are the worst matchup for every team. The Nuggets are the worst matchup for every team. I think the only team, like you said, that probably could give them problems because of their size in the front court with Rudy, with Nas and such, and they're kind of they're bigger players. No one else really has bigger players like that besides the Clippers and Big Zoo, but the Clippers as a whole team aren't nothing.
They're not built like the Timberwolves,
Denver
for sure.
Nuggets to worry about. Yeah. So I think if all they need to do is win 3 games, that puts them at 50 wins. And they be straight. Like they wouldn't. That's all they need. They need 3. I think that's what they're aiming for is 3 wins. They're on a 2-game losing streak right now though. Yeah. So they're definitely going to win.
And they lost a fucking hell of a game against Minnesota in overtime by 1. I think it was definitely a wishy-washy call. It probably shouldn't have been a foul call because I think they won at the free throw line.
That wasn't a foul.
It was like a 3-pointer that went in, and then they called
that wasn't a foul.
So I agree. Even being a Timberwolves guy, I don't think that should have been called. It went to another overtime, and Joker was playing a hell of a game. 60 points. 65, I think he had.
No, they would have lost. They would have lost because they were down 1, and he needed all 3 free throws to win.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. So yeah, T-Wolves would have lost.
So they would have lost.
Yeah, but they won, and the Denver Nuggets have been on a little skid. If you look at the top 6 teams, OKC's in their last 10 games.
Oh, they dropped.
It's 10-0. Yeah, for sure. The Rockets are 8-2. Lakers are 6-4. Nuggets are 4-6. Warriors are 7-3. T-Wolves are 7-3. And then teams that also have the same record as the Warriors and the Timberwolves, the Clippers are 8-2, and the Grizzlies are 2-8. So, most of those teams are on the rise. They're starting to peak at the right time going into the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying. If they're trying to throw games, there's some kind of scary teams under them that could put them in a. I honestly think they should match up. They should look to match up with the Lakers. Then they really gonna get the Lakers up out of there. Get LaFlop, bitch ass up out of there. Get him out of there. How you be that great?
But I think they're thinking the same thing that LeBron is thinking.
Yeah, is
we would like to see LeBron get beat up a little bit before we got to run. I don't think they want to run into a fresh LeBron first round. LeBron and Luka, you want to see them have to see Luka and LeBron run into some minutes, some bodies before you see that. I think they're kind of thinking the same thing. They don't want to have to run into them that early, either.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last season and the season before that with AD, they were like, "Oh, let's do it," but
this season they don't have the bigs. They don't have the bigs to deal with Denver for sure. They don't have the bigs to deal with Denver.
Yeah, but even when AD was there, they didn't have the bigs. Like the only time they had the bigs was that 2020 bubble.
Yeah, when they had White and
30. When they had 30 goddamn centers.
Yeah,
they had the whole. They had the whole league. They had every center in the league.
Yeah, they had Dwight and JaVale.
Yeah, they had every center in the league to push at him. So I think now, I think they really are vying for that spot to run into the Warriors. But I think the Timberwolves are really going to be trying to make a push to not have to run into not necessarily the Lakers, not to run into Luka. Like they don't want to do that. As much as they might be like, oh, we don't care who we see, and Ant might be, he don't want to see that man. He knows he don't want to see that man. So that's what they thought last year.
But they're a year wiser. They're a year wiser now. Ant is definitely better than he was last year. Let's be real. Ant is 100%
I wouldn't even say he's better. I think he's the same player. I think he just shoots more threes.
You just want to frustrate.
I think he went a little bit more analytical. I think he's the same. He's the same
he don't
player.
Want to be double teamed. Just frustrate him. He gonna get double teamed.
Yeah, I think he just shoots more threes now, and I don't think he's better. I don't think he's worse by any means. I think he's the same. He just shoots more threes.
All the shit Ant talk, you can't come out and say that you don't like being double teamed. You're the guy.
That's why he shoots more threes. He don't want to
double team him when he's shooting threes. It's impossible.
You can't double team him when he's shooting threes. One game I think against the Nuggets or whatever, he had 15 threes. 15? What the 15? He also, I think, shoots more threes because he knows his body. And the past 2 postseasons, he's run into a wall physically.
Yep.
and has gassed out. So he's like, okay, instead of me driving so much this year, I'm gonna shoot more threes. And one, you don't see as many double teams, obviously, because you're shooting a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you don't see as many physical bumping plays. So you're kind of saving your body. You're staying off of the floor, whatever the case may be with that. So I think that's why I say I don't think he's a better player. I think he's been playing the numbers game, and he's going a little bit more analytical this season, and he's shooting more threes, and he shoots them at a pretty good clip. I think some games he overshoots. And he tries too hard to find his shot in certain games where he should just go to the rim and
that's one thing. That's one thing I feel like the AAU circuit has definitely diminished since our age group really was in it. Because now it's more like how many games are we playing? It's like social media driven. It's just having the best players. It's not a developmental arena anymore like it was before. And these guys just don't understand. You have to let the game come to you. Chauncey Billups talked about it with J.R. Smith before. He's like, look, if you're not knocking out shots, try to get to the free throw line. You have to see the ball go into the rim. Try to get to the free throw line, and that will open up it'll open up the court because you're getting to the line, so people are going to sag off you. So now you're getting less, either no contested or less contested shots. But I can't wait until MJ's old enough to start hooping. Because Jay, if plan is going accordingly, when we start coaching, the shit that these coaches do now, we're gonna run the South. I'll say it here now. We're gonna run Houston, Texas for sure. We're gonna run Texas. Whatever team my son's on and I'm coaching it, we're gonna run the shit out you motherfuckers because y'all don't know how to play ball. Y'all don't know how to coach shit. You don't know how to do none of the stuff that's supposed to be done. I understand that every region has their own style of play, but the way that y'all do AAU here in Houston is not real ball. It's like they're missing whole gaps in their game. On both sides of the court, they're missing gaps in how to play the game of basketball. It's not just threes. It's not just threes and Ds. I don't give a fuck what the Rockets was doing. There's way more to the game of basketball than threes and Ds. So, but these guys just don't understand how to get open. I hate watching Anthony Edwards pass the ball and then sit. Move around. Be a threat. Like, they have to look for you.
What?
You know, that LeBron James said it best. Steph Curry is more deadly without the ball in his hands than he is with the ball in his hands. Because you have to know where he's at. You have to know where he's at. So imagine Anthony Edwards on a bicycle. And it's not like you have to do exactly what Steph does and run all game. But if you displace a guy and their eyeballs on where you're at, you pass the ball and you shift, you might get some backdoor stuff. You might get some fade cuts. You can open up your game, and it's mind-boggling to me that you made it this high in your basketball career, and that's not a part of your bag.
That's IQ. I think a lot of former players have kind of griped about the game today.
Game, yeah.
It's not so much as skill set. It's IQ.
They're all playing instinctually. They're not
how to
thinking
get off
about
the ball.
Game. They're all very instinctual players, and they've made it this far being instinctual players.
They said the game is just watch somebody high pick and roll, watch, and hey, if you get the shot, if you have an open shot, take it. If not, they don't like to say the simple stuff of like watching the flow of game and knowing when to back cut, when to like instinctively know like, hey, he is not watching. I'm going back. Hey, look, the next play when you come my side, hey, he's probably gonna keep watching and helping you.
You're literally by standing still. You're literally helping the defense.
Exactly.
There's no questions about it. By standing still, you're helping the defense. When you watch soccer and hockey, those guys are constantly moving. They're trying to find pockets. They're trying to, because by standing still, all you're doing is helping the defense. Why are you standing in the same? Why'd you pass the ball and then stay in the same spot? You can maybe even go screen for somebody. It's not like you got to cut to the basket. You can go screen. You could, whatever. There's so many things that you could do that's a better option than standing around looking.
Thanks.
So, I think we've had a lot of time. It's already 7 here, so that means 8 there. So yeah. I know the babies need their bath.
Last take. Shout out to Juju for National Player of the Year. We did. Like I said, I thought Hannah was gonna be That was between her and Hannah the whole year. I thought Hannah might have edged it, but I can see where she fell off. They fell off a little bit towards the end of the season, where Juju was showing like, "Hey, I need that."
For sure.
So shout out to Juju.
And
for
speedy
getting that
recovery.
play.
Get well. We can't wait to see you next year. Hopefully, she's back in the middle of the season because it is her sophomore year. Greatness. We don't like to see greatness not on the court. We want to see greatness on the court doing what they do best. So speedy recovery for her.
UConn versus South Carolina, Florida versus UH versus in championship.
That's actually what I got.
Okay.
That's what I got. And I got Houston winning, South Carolina winning.
Debate with your mama, not me.
All right, everybody. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.